going to graph an exponential equation. We're given the equation y equals 3 to the x minus 1 power. First thing you do is we're just going to make a simple t-chart. We're going to label it with -3 to +3. That'll give us a nice middle range there. And then we just need to find y values for that. So if we pop in a -3 for x, you're going to get x equals 3 to the -4th, and so forth all the way down. And if you evaluate these, 3 to the -4th, remember is 1 over 3 to the 4th, or 1 over 81, and so forth all the way down. You're going to calculate all these values here. Then if you plot your points on your graph and connect them, you're going to see that on the left side you have something that's very close to 0. And on the right side, it's going to increase, of course, exponentially, and go up very rapidly. An alternative, if you would rather do this with your calculator, you can type this in to your TI-83 or 84. 3, use the caret key to be the little hat symbol to say that you're going to a power, and on some of the newer 84s it will format it nicely. On some of the older ones you'll just have to make sure you use your parentheses to keep it all straight, and then put your x minus 1 in parentheses up here, and that'll be your exponent. Nice thing about that is it will generate you both a graph, but you also have a table here that you can reference and make sure that if you built your own t-chart by hand that it all syncs up. Let's do one more example. Y equals 3 times 1/2 to the x. Same idea, set up our t-chart here, -3 to 3. Plug in our values. We're going to have this coefficient of 3 times the 1/2 term to the -3rd power. Well, 1/2 to the -3rd is 2 to the 3rd, or 8, and so forth all the way down. 1/2 to the -2 is 2 to the +2, which is going to be 4. If you do that all the way across here, you're going to calculate all these values, solve it out, and you'll see that these terms all grow very quickly. However, this time you'll notice that the bigger numbers for y are corresponding to the negative values of x. If you plot this out, you'll see that this curve is coming down to the right. Whenever you have a term in here that is less than 1, you can expect to see it decrease as you go from left to right. We'll get a little bit more into the details later, but that's called exponential decay, when it's between 0 and 1, this term right here. Again, if you're using your calculator, you'd want to make sure that you type 3 times, and then in parentheses, 1/2, all in parentheses, to the x power. If that 3 gets wrapped in there, it's going to end up changing the values you get. So if you want to just practice now, go ahead and plug this in and make sure that these numbers look the same as the numbers I've got. If they don't, you might have made a mistake.